story is Monday Night Football tonight. Eagles against the Falcons in Philly. However, news over the weekend, A.J. Brown, hamstring injury. He's going to miss the game. It'll be the first regular season game he's missed since joining Philly in 2022. He had played in 37 straight regular season games. The line has dipped down to 5.5. Still a lot of uncertainty around Kirk Cousins and
we
his
don't
injury.
know if he basically, he and Aaron Rodgers don't leave the pocket.
Well, they can't leave the pocket.
I mean, you hike it to him, he steps and throws. There's real limitation. I think Atlanta's going to play much better. Listen, Pittsburgh's defense in the first 2 weeks has discombobulated some pretty talented offenses. I mean, discombobulated Atlanta and Denver, so some of it could be this Philly defense is not even close to Pittsburgh. I think Atlanta's going to show well tonight.
Yeah.
I don't have it. I'm not betting it, but I would take Atlanta. I know I'm in the minority here. If Kirk Cousins can't move at all, I think Pittsburgh scared him a little bit. I think this defense tonight he'll face. I think Atlanta's going to show well tonight.
Well, the primetime underdogs this week.
I know.
They both covered. Bills win outright, and
Underdogs
had
a very, very good weekend.
But underdogs are great. Yeah, Packers show.
All right, so that's all he has to say about Philly. Let's unpack this real fast. We'll keep this shorter because I'm sure First Things First is going to talk about how the Eagles have no chance. We already know that Nick Wright has picked the Falcons to win this game outright, he said. And that was before the A.J. Brown injury. So we'll discuss that on a First Things First video. But Colin keeps repeating this about the Eagles defense. He thinks that the Eagles defense is really bad. And it's not adding up to me. I'm not telling you that the Eagles have a top 5 defense. I have no idea. Zero idea. But this idea that the Eagles have this bad defense because the Green Bay Packers, who have an unbelievable offense, were able to score points on the Eagles, especially with Jalen Hurts giving multiple turnovers. Not the grittiness that the Eagles, considering that they had those turnovers, that they were able to not only force their own turnovers, but be great in the red zone. Like, come on. And it's against Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, who are a great quarterback coach duo. No ifs, ands, or buts. If Eagles fans don't know that now, they will. Great duo. That's a great team. So they're going to put up points. They're going to put up points. That's what good coaches and quarterbacks do together, especially when they have the weapons to sustain it. That's what they do. They put up points. So I just like, it's weird that the Eagles keep getting, let's think about this for a second. The Eagles face a great defense. The Eagles face a great offense. And we can see that. We can see that the Packers put up some points on the Eagles. And so we say, okay, well, the Eagles defense is not that good though. But they faced a good offense. And on the flip side, we're saying the Falcons actually have a good offense, but they faced a good defense last week. Therefore, their offense is going to be better now because they just faced a good defense against the Steelers. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, we're not being consistent in when we apply these things. We can say that we think the Falcons offense will look better against the Eagles because the Steelers have a better defense. I understand that argument. But we're not giving the grace. We're giving this grace to the Falcons offense that we're not giving to the Eagles defense. That's where it doesn't add up. I do believe that the Steelers most likely have a better defense than the Eagles. I do. They got better personnel and most likely a better, more physical head coach that's a defensive head coach in Mike Tomlin. I don't think that that's, groundbreaking to say, quite frankly. And I don't think that should shock or anger many Eagles fans because it's just, you're not going to be the best at every single thing. The Steelers have a good physical defense and they're very well coached. That they got Watt, who's a monster. That alone is making you a top defense. But the Falcons did not show much signs of life. And a good offense, Bo Nix and the Broncos. And again, I'm not low on Bo Nix and the Broncos. I have my whole thing about them, which I'll talk about in a different video. But like, let's be serious here. You can't say that the Broncos have a good offense. They haven't proven that they have a good offense yet. I think they have signs of it, and they've had a tough schedule. But like, again, we got to be consistent with when we apply these, when we want to offer grace to a team or not. I don't understand why Philly's not getting the benefit of the doubt. That's really more the purpose of this video. And Colin is very, very pro Philly in that regard. He had Philly on his list as herd hierarchy top 3 last week, I believe. I believe that they were the third or fourth team. So he is pro Philly. Like he is very forgiving to Philly. I just don't know why they're just so quick to be like, Falcons are going to look good, and the Eagles are maybe not so good. And yeah, losing A.J. Brown matters. He's the number 1 receiver, right? Like, make no mistake about it. That does matter. That's going to affect you. And we're going to learn a lot about the Eagles tonight, quite frankly. We're going to see how resilient they are, how comfortable A.J. Brown is going somewhere else beside A.J., right? All the other weapons. That's the benefit of how many weapons the Eagles have. And it is a different team, not just the Packers. And I do think the Falcons aren't a trash team. You know, I thought they were going to win the division until I saw the Saints come out the gate like the whole body's on fire. So I do think the Falcons will have the potential to look better than they did against the Steelers, but not in a way where I'm just like, Eagles are in trouble. Especially if A.J. Brown was playing. The biggest trouble now that the Eagles could be in trouble is missing their number 1 receiver. Like I said, that's not the easiest thing. You would be hesitant around any team that's missing their number 1 receiver, right? People question CJ McCaffrey down for the 49ers, but the Packers really didn't look, but the Jets didn't really look that good. You would question if Travis Kelce's down, or Pacheco's down for the Chiefs. You know, it matters. When you're missing a key player, it matters. You're going to be like, okay, let's see. But this is where you find out who the Eagles are. This game more than anything. If they win this game convincingly, it doesn't mean that they have to dominate, but if they win in a way that it's clear that the Eagles are in control start to finish and that the Falcons are just on a different level of them, below them, that starts to paint a clearer picture of the Eagles are a legitimate contender and not fool's gold. If they struggle against the Falcons and lose, that would be concerning. If they beat the Falcons, but it's like, oh my God, they just got on by, they just skirted on by, and it was kind of uncomfortable for a part of the game, and it really felt that the Falcons absolutely could win this game, then you would be like, okay, you know, the Eagles are seemingly just as good as every other team because the Chiefs almost lost. The 49ers did lose. The Minnesota Vikings feel like they got some bite to them. The Cowboys got demolished. It would just muddy the waters a little bit more for the Eagles picture to figure out who they are. I look for clear, decisive wins early on in the season because I don't have so much to go off of. I don't know who the Falcons are right now. I don't know technically who the Packers are right now. And those are the 2 teams that who they face or will face. And that's to be expected, right? Like, so I try to look for more concrete black and white things to kind of really paint a clearer picture until I have more information. I can make predictions. I believe the Packers are like this. I believe the Falcons are, but I don't know until they play other teams, until they prove who they are. So really interesting game ahead. Really excited. I do believe that the Eagles should win this game. A.J. Brown does add a wrinkle into that, but they got so many weapons. It's going to be interesting to see. The problem is we have no idea if the Falcons defense is good because they went up against Justin Fields and Pittsburgh, and they clearly do not have a good, that offense is just not humming along very well. They didn't look good against the Broncos, and it didn't look good against the Falcons. So it'll be interesting to see, for all we know, the Falcons have a terrible defense. For all we know, we have no idea. We can use a frame of reference of what happened last year or week 1, but it's just that's proving to not be very a good indicator of much of anything as of late. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think that the Eagles are in trouble versus the Falcons, and the Falcons are going to bounce back and look like a great team versus the Eagles? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.